2023-2024 school year. Item 12.51, addition approved revised job description, number D-21, Director of Security and Threat Assessment. Item 12.52, addition approve appoint Joseph Shannon, Director of Security and Threat Assessment, 2023-2024 school year. And that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Bazak. Any questions? Then our safety and risk management report, Ms. Gowski.
Thank you, Mr. Bannock. There are 6 items on the agenda for this evening. Item 13.1, accept the 22-23 bus drills. 13.2, approve bus aid for route number T408 to Stepping Stone School Educational Services Commission of New Jersey for the 22-23 school year. 13.3, approve route number T412 to South River High School Educational Services Commission of New Jersey for the 22-23 school year. 13.4, approve route number T422 to South River High and Elementary Schools Educational Services Commission of New Jersey for the 22-23 school year. 13.5, approve the 2023 Summer Transportation Routes Educational Services Commission of New Jersey. Item 13.6, approve award the Natan Mobile Medical Transport route to Lakeview School extended school year 2023. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we are going to move the consent report. Mr. Rosa, would you please?
The South River Board of Education, by means of a consent resolution, adopt various resolutions of a routine and non-controversial nature at one time. And whereas the below listed resolutions are hereby adopted by the said Board of Education in whole, as if the same were individually acted upon, and those are the Superintendent of Schools, item 3.2, President of the Board, 5.2 through 5.17, Finance, 8.1 through 8.53, Instruction, 9.1 through 9.6, Negotiations, 10.1, Policy and Legislation, 11.1 through 11.5, Human Resources, 12.1, 12.52, and Safety and Risk Management, 13.1, 13.6.
Thank you. Do we have a motion on that?
Motion to move the consent resolution.
Motion by Mr. Bazak.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bush. Are there any questions or abstentions or any items that anyone would care to have read separately? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Basic?
Yes.
Mrs. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. Lau?
Yes.
Ms. Sadowski?
Yes.
Ms. Young Yao?
Yes.
Mr. Bannock?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, we have a couple of more reports to go through. The first is our school community relations. Ms. Young Yao.
Thank you. There are no items on the agenda this evening.
Thank you. We have no report from the School Board Borough Council Liaison Committee. We will check back with Mr. Nielsen perhaps next month. Our PTA liaison.
Thank you. So the primary and elementary school PTAs wrapped up the school year with their fun days, the first grade moving up ceremony, and 5th grade fun night. And plans are already being made for September. And all the PTAs are looking for officers and members to continue planning these events that the kids really look forward to each year. So I'd like to thank the members of all the PTAs for making this year's events successful and for making fun for the kids. And these events would not be possible without the time and the effort put in by the parents. And it's not too early to start thinking about potentially joining your child's PTA in the fall. And parent volunteers are crucial for making these events happen, like Fun Day, like the kids always look forward to. So that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would just like to go back to item number 15, and I just would like to recognize Councilwoman Miera, who is the liaison from the Borough Council to the board in attendance tonight. Thank you for attending. Then our South River Public Library liaison, Mr. Bazak.
Thank you, Mr. Bannock. Recently, the library posted their upcoming events, classes, and programs on the calendar portion of their website. There's events classes for people of all ages in a climate-controlled atmosphere, so, support your library, take a look at that, sign up for some summer programs. That's all I have.
Thank you. Our South River Foundation for Educational Excellence Liaison, Mrs. Lowe.
I have no update, but I just want to acknowledge that one of the items that I read was 8.7, which was a donation of $10,000 for K through 5 level library classroom sets. That was a grant. And I do believe that the foundation has was not able to have enough members to sustain it.
They will not be renewing for the upcoming year.
Correct, so they will not be renewing for the upcoming school year, so it's many thanks from us as a board, working alongside the many people over the years from the inception to then the reorganization of it all. So I extend deep gratitude to all the members that have served on that board and for all of the many grants and programs that they supported through the district over the years, and then in this final manner in which they were able to do the level library classroom sets. So I just want to make sure I extend that. So that's all I have.
Thank you. And our student board representative, actually, he's now an alumni, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. Yesterday was graduation. It was a great day. Without the board, it would be possible, so thank you. A shout out to the project graduation team for raising however much money to put the event together last night. Spending the entire night with the kids to put together a really fun night. So thank you to them. Thank you.
Thank you for serving on the board. I hope you take something away from being up here with us. We certainly learned from you. Thank you. Okay, is there any old or new business to come before the board at this time? And do we have anything from our attorney, Mr. Parton?
We have some things to talk about in executive session, but nothing for right now.
Thank you. We are now going to move on to payment of the bills. Mrs. Lowe.
Thank you. The Finance Committee recommends that all bills presented, having been certified by the School Business Administrator Board Secretary, be paid as listed, and I so move.
We have a motion by Mrs. Lowe,
Second.
second by Mrs. Sadowski. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, then, at this time, the board is going to open up the meeting to the reception of visitors. This is the time where public may address any concern or comment that they have for the board. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address, and your comments need to be kept, please, to a 10-minute time limit. On first call.
I intended to talk for a while, but I see that this meeting has dragged on, like the other meeting lasted a few minutes, so this may not be the best time to keep you here for any length of time. Probably people want to go, so I'm just going to ask you, you have a meeting next month, right?
Yes, we have
So
a
I
meeting.
might bring up
every
my
month.
I ask
concerns.
you that you give us your name.
Okay.
Address, please.
I think I've introduced myself. My name is Norman Scheinberg,
Thank you.
SCHEINBERG. I've introduced myself several times before to this group, although we'll do it again next time. So, I don't know how you feel, but I'm pretty tired. But the presentation I was going to give, which would be with a handout over here, a number of pages of some detailed information I wanted to go over, would probably last 20 minutes. So I'd have to ask the group, I think it would last 20 minutes the most. So I'd probably have to ask the group for an extra 10 minutes, and this might not be the time to do it. Depends on how you guys feel. You want to do it.
What I would suggest is that if you do have something to present, that you provide it to our superintendent, and perhaps she can discuss it with the board and our attorney, and perhaps it may be placed on the board agenda for the following month.
What would be the purpose of that? I mean, because I can always come up and give a talk. So what would be the purpose? I mean, I can do it.
Well,
I
you
have
can
to have
speak-
packs of information.
You can most definitely speak for 10 minutes now on your presentation, But if you wanted to actually have 20 minutes of time carved out, that would be the purpose of it. But
You know,
please
under-
continue.
I will, okay, but under Robert's Rules of Order, as I know them, everyone gets a chance to speak twice after everyone else has talked. So I'm not gonna do it now, but I could potentially, after everyone else talked, ask for another 10 minutes. Yes, that's
No.
Robert's Rules of Order.
No, that's superseded by the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, which reserves to the board the express authority to limit comment
Okay.
aggregately and individually. 10
So if
minutes
the
is
board,
rule.
if the board refused my 20 minutes, you certainly have the right to do that, I might just break it up into 2 separate talks, separate each month. Just come back again, because there's nothing that has to be done immediately, it's not important or anything else. But I do have a few quick questions that will just take a moment to ask. I'd like to know, I looked at your new school budget, but it was a little confusing as to how much you're budgeting, your total budget for the SROs. I heard you're gonna hire another SRO, it'll be a 6th one it looked like. So what do you propose for the new budget for the SROs? And I'd like to know the portion that comes out of the school budget and how much you're asking the town to contribute. Of course, they may or may not contribute it, but does anybody know those numbers?
So it's actually 5 SROs.
You have 5 now, right?
We do, the 5th is funded 100% by the school budget. The other 4 are a shared service agreement with the borough, and
Okay.
we fund them at 50%, and the borough funds the other 50%.
Okay, so give me the total amount of money. And that will come, if you add up both the school budget and the contributions from the town, what will that be?
I don't have an exact figure for you.
I
but
estimate it would
can
be between
certainly-
$200,000 and $300,000 probably.
I don't have an exact figure for you, but I can certainly send it to you. I don't want to give you an incorrect number since you're looking for a specific amount.
Okay. How would you give it to me? Because I asked for that, I had submitted a
That's
request
why we collect
via
the
your
contact
website. I
information.
got nothing, what?
That's why we collected contact information.
Okay,
So you
I'll
can
give you that
also-
contact information afterwards, it's a long email. Okay, the other question I have is who polices the Saturday football games and other after-hour school-sponsored events?
One of the agenda items on this agenda is actually the agreement with SRPD, and we do contract with SRPD
Okay, so
for
it's the
any
South River
other,
Police Department.
for any other support, security support that we need.
And do the SROs report to the Police Department and Board of Education?
So they're not SROs, they're SLEOs, and they.
These are third-class,
SLEO 3s, correct.
Okay.
And they are actually employees of the South River Police Department, and
Okay.
they report to SRPD.
and since the rest of my talk involved giving out to each one of you a copy of the things, and in here is a bunch of data, charts, calculations, other things like that. Someone would have to have it in front of them to even understand my talk. And I haven't run it through myself, but I have a feeling it could take 20 minutes about the SROs. I'd just like to say one other thing. Well, let me introduce myself. How many of you know who I am? You've probably seen me before. Let me introduce myself completely, but I'm not going to give the talk now. My name is Norman Scheinberg. I'm a long-time South River resident. I've lived here for 37 years. My wife's family has been here for over 100 years. They came before World War II and lived here continuously. My 2 sons went to the South River High School. One in 2000 was the salutatorian, the other one was the valedictorian, 2004. My wife graduated from South River High School. She went to college and eventually became a physician, a pediatric endocrinologist. She did research in pediatric endocrinology, eventually got board certified child psychiatry, and worked with developmentally disabled children there. So she did well also from the South River High School. I spent most of my life in and around New York City, except for the last 37 years. I've taught at City College in New York in Harlem for 40 years. I retired about 2 years ago. I've also worked for a number of companies and did research for them and with my graduate students and undergraduate students there. It's kind of funny, but I came across it was a survey that asked, what are people most afraid of? And the only thing that they feared more than death was public speaking. And that was true. Somebody else once told me the only thing that produces more stress than public speaking is combat. And when I say to people, I'd probably be up here and be nervous talking, They say that's kind of ridiculous. I've given, how could you be nervous? I mean, I've talked in front of groups of 100, 200 engineers at conferences on technical papers I've given. I certainly talk through auditoriums full of college students. I've talked to large numbers of engineers, maybe a dozen or so in a room, explaining what my work is. But among you guys, I am nervous, and take that into account. Why should that be? Because I think this is the first audience that I will be talking to that was not here specifically to listen to me. The others came to hear me. And you guys not only are not here to hear me, you don't really want to hear me. Because I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear. But the purpose of this meeting is to get input from the people in the community, and I'm a person in the community. So I'm going to try to get this information in one way or another. So I don't want to characterize this as an unfriendly audience, certainly not on a personal level. I mean, obviously not, but I mean, it's kind of different talking in front of you guys. And I have a feeling other people that have been up here also may have been nervous. So it's kind of a funny thing, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm either going to do it, you know, like I said, this meeting may not be the time to do it, but one way or another, I'm going to get this
I
information.
just want to let you know you have 2 minutes.
Okay, so,
Oh, you can continue to talk, you have 2 more minutes remaining.
no, I don't have anything else to say. That's it.
Okay,
I mean, the
well,
next time I will continue. You've answered my questions, and this thing is too long. I mean, so next time I won't go over this, you'll know who I am, who my family is, and so on. Get right into the report, see the handouts, and go over it.
thank you, Mr. Scheinberg.
Christine, do you mind taking Mr. Scheinberg's contact information for us? Thank you. Christine's going to take it for you, and then we will be sending you those figures you requested. Thank you so much, Christine.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Julie Maida, 189 Main Street. I'd like to thank you all for recognizing that I was here today. I am always here, even though I don't come. I watch the meetings, I do read your minutes, which are a little difficult to understand sometimes, but I get around it. I do want to mention that somebody previously had also told me that it was difficult to hear you guys at some of the meetings on YouTube. So I thought I'd share that with you guys this evening. I was invited to a meeting with Ms. Camilla Miazio at the end of May, an opportunity to speak within the community about grant writing. I was just wondering if that grant was submitted.
It was. That's the 21st Century Grant. And as part of that grant, we were seeking partnerships with different community entities, the borough being one of them. We did need a follow-up signature from the borough's rec department, which we received. And upon receipt of that, as well as our other community partners, we went ahead and submitted for that grant. And we do not have a result yet.
Okay, that was my next.
I will tell you as soon as we do. We don't have it yet.
Okay, other than that, I just want to say all the grant opportunities that you guys do use and receive are very helpful. I want to thank the district for bringing back class trips. My second grader, it was her first time on a bus, so she was very excited about that. And my sixth grader also did enjoy going to Pennsylvania with the sixth grade class. So thank you for that. I hope that continues and we have many more to enrich our kids with more experiences like that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Maida. At this time, is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak on first call, second call, third call? This portion of the meeting is now closed for public comment. And at this time, the board is going to go into closed executive session. So resolved that pursuant to Section 7 and 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, the following subjects be discussed at a session of the Board of Education closed to the public. And those items are attorney-client privilege and personnel. It is presently anticipated that the items to be discussed in closed session can be disclosed to the public when resolved. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Slough, second by Mr. Basak. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. This section